So thank you for joining us for our first EMP Skillshare. My name is Laura Santoyo, and I'm the interim secretary for the National Emerging Museum Professionals Network. We developed this program so that emerging museum professionals could share their varying expertise with other EMPs. We think that it's really important that, we share the knowledge that we have with our colleagues and learn and grow together. If you're interested in participating in this Skillshare program yourself, like you want to give your own presentation, you can either email me, and I'll pop my email in the chat here in a second. My email is just secretary@nationalempnetwork.org, or there is a Google form you can fill out, which I'll also pop in the chat shortly. So, if you're interested, please do. It would be, I think, a great professional development opportunity as well. And then just some brief housekeeping rules. This presentation is being recorded for future use. So if you don't want to be visible on the recording, turn your video off at this time. Please also keep yourself on mute for the full length of the presentation so that we can hear the speaker without any background noise or interruptions. We also ask that questions wait until the end. If you think of questions while the speaker is presenting, just drop them in the chat box. We'll have a Q&A session following this presentation. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Deidre McVeigh-Schulmeister. Deidre is the Development and Membership Associate for the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She operates the museum's entire membership program, from exclusive event planning to member experience services and record keeping. She also assists with fundraising initiatives for the museum that supports its STEM educational programming, historic aircraft and missile restoration projects, which sounds awesome, exhibitions, and COVID-19 relief, including managing the entire operations of the museum's annual silent auction called the Einstein Gala. Her involvement in museum membership has led her to attend the American Museum Membership Conference to further grow her knowledge and bring new ideas back to her museum, and later serving on the host committee for the organization's first ever virtual conference this past October, where she moderated panels and provided technical assistance in her assigned panels. Deidre graduated from Heidelberg University in 2014 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and honors in political science, minors in legal and international studies. In 2017, she graduated from the University of Dayton with a master's degree with honors in public administration. Finally, she has served on the board of directors for 2 organizations, the Young Professionals of Albuquerque as their secretary, and the Kirtland Spouses Club as their, I'm gonna mispronounce this word, parliamentarian. Did I do that right? And now serves as co-founder and chair of her co-ed society's alumni council. And without further ado, please welcome Deidre.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming today. I'm so excited to share with you guys a little bit on conversational road mapping and how you can be able to use this in your membership program, as well as advocating for your museum on a holistic sense as well. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen to my PowerPoint real quick, so bear with me for a second. Okie dokie. So we're just going to go into a little bit of what the presentation is going to entail. I'm going to share with you some information about my home museum, so that way you can kind of get some background sense of where a lot of these road mapping projects have led to in terms of what our membership program stands now. I'll also define conversational road mapping. It has kind of a 2-part definition. So we'll talk about the one part of the definition, which is used to convey accurate information about your museum. That way visitors don't always hold that presumption that they have about your museum. They can receive accurate information moving into a decision that they're going to make, whether they want to join or not. Then I'll go into the training module that was used for my team at the Nuclear Museum and how we were able to implement it in the short term and how we're wanting to implement it in the future for when I leave the museum as well. Then we will end with the latter half of the definition and how you can use this road mapping technique to be able to enhance your current benefits, create new ones, or even take a problem that you have within your membership program and be able to resolve it as well. And I have a couple of really cool examples from my personal experience that we were able to take this from. And as Laura said, we'll end with a Q&A session where you can ask me whatever you like. So the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History, I know that is a mouthful. So it is known as the Nuclear Museum to everyone who knows it very well. And our museum is geared to present to our guests with an opportunity to learn the story of the atomic age, from early research of nuclear development to its peaceful uses in the modern day sense. We were founded in 1969 on Kirtland Air Force Base, which is the military base here in Albuquerque. And then when the 9/11 terrorist attacks occurred, we had to evacuate from our facility that was on base, and then we found a space to use in Albuquerque's Old Town District, which is the original portion of the city when it was founded before it expanded to how big it is now. We were there until April 2009, and then we wanted to find a permanent home. And our permanent home is located just outside of Kirtland Air Force Base. So full circle of life, so to speak, come back and be able to be currently located outside the Eubank Boulevard gate, which is, we can see the base basically from our backyard, which is really nice. And also military families can be able just to exit the base and find a museum right outside their front yard as well. We are a 501c3 nonprofit museum, and we're also congressionally chartered. We are a Smithsonian affiliated museum, a member of the Association of Science Technology Centers, or ASTEC, and then we are also accredited by the American Alliance of Museums, or AM. Our membership program predominantly consists of two membership types. I'm not going to spend a long time talking about this, so I'm just going to briefly highlight. Our basic levels have anywhere from a youth level membership to a student educator level, more senior adult to an individual who is 18 or older. And then we also have a family level as well that consists of 2 adults and any children that reside in that household that are under 18 years old. We then also have a group of memberships called the Einstein Society. These are memberships that start anywhere from $150 a year to $5,000 a year. And these members are able to get guest passes that they can share with family and friends that want to visit the museum on their own, or they can be able to bring those guests themselves to the museum where everyone can benefit from the free admission upon their visit. And there's an additional benefit that kind of goes along with this presentation that I'll go into further detail a little later. Our basic level benefits offer free admission for 1 year at the museum, and as well as Aztec institutions that are 90 linear miles or beyond our museum, 10% discounts in our store and camp as well, and then invitations to member-only events and exhibition viewings before the exhibition is available for the public. Our Einstein Society reaps these basic level benefits as well in the guest passes that I mentioned. And they can also bring these same guests or different guests to our member programming as well. And one of them is Einstein's Night Out. I'm going to save Einstein's Night Out for the end because this is one that really plays off of how conversational road mapping can be used to enhance your current membership program. We also offer free private docent tours for some of our Einstein Society members, as well as discounts to rent the museum as an event space. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we utilized conversational road mapping to solve the problem of if we're not getting renewals like what we normally would from certain people, we still need to bring some sort of generalized revenue to the museum somehow. So we decided to add upgrade options as well to be able to bring in some extra revenue to offset some of the lost revenue that we had in memberships years prior. So one of them is our Atomic History History Patron benefit, which is also a new membership level that we added. This is more of a COVID, what I call a more COVID experienced membership benefit and membership level and benefit upgrade as well, because this is more of a online presence focused upgrade. We wanted to create something that people from anywhere in the United States can join the Nuclear Museum as a member and be able to utilize a benefit that could definitely make sense for them if they especially can't make it to Albuquerque. What we offered them was exclusive emails with podcasts on any sort of history presentation of the atomic age. And then they can also be able to access previous podcasts as well using the same link they'll get emailed once a month. So this is a really good way to be able to incentivize membership in the sense that they don't have to be in Albuquerque. They can enjoy the membership itself and the upgrade even from the comforts of their own home. Our final upgrade we added was something that we really didn't realize we had actually. With our Smithsonian affiliate status, we were able to opt in to the Museum Reciprocity magazine program for free. It was basically just signing a piece of paper and check marking a box. And I was so excited. It was that easy to join. So we have this opportunity available for all of our members. They can choose between Smithsonian or Air and Space magazine. They also get a membership card from Smithsonian as well that they can visit their other affiliate institutions as well and get Smithsonian discounts. So again, this was also another way to utilize what we already have and be able to generate extra revenue as well, despite the pandemic. We were able to generate almost $800 in profit, personal profit, since this particular upgrade was initiated, and almost $1,300 profit from the Atomic History Patron level membership, and upgrade was created as well, since both of them were created in the spring. So that's spring till now. So that's extra revenue we didn't anticipate to have because we created those. Now, let's get to defining conversational road mapping. It is the utilization of conversations that a person has with another person to help navigate them to an accurate response to further educate that person, or provide a plan of action to grow your organization or membership program. So I wanted to divide these in two different parts, because when you're having these conversations with guests, with your team, it's really important to guide yourself through the conversation, take it down a road, so to speak, and be able to figure out ways to grow your program as well as properly educate the community about your museum and not let the overarching presumption that they had entering the conversation dictate their decision to want to be involved with your museum in some sort of extent. So what does navigating the responses exactly mean? So what I mean by that is when your membership person or membership team are interacting with the general population, what they always want to do is be able to have a Rolodex in the back of their mind of everything that's going on in their membership program. Benefits, upgrades, answers to questions, strategies to solve different benefits issues, anything. That builds a personal Rolodex for them to be able to provide sound and accurate responses to the general public about their membership program. So, for example, what I did to be able to train our store as well as myself a little bit further on having certain questions regarding out-of-state members is this. We have out-of-state members that come and visit our museum, and sometimes our store does ask, hey, have you ever thought about becoming a member of our museum? And some will always say, I'm from out of state, guys. I don't really think I can benefit from a membership with your museum because I'm not from here. We're just passing through. So in the Magic Rolodex, as you're navigating that conversation piece, what we do is tell them, that's cool. We totally understand where you're coming from. But just to share with you some accurate information, just to pass along, we're a part of Aztec, the Association of Science Technology Centers. If you become a member of our museum, you can visit not only us, but also museums that are part of Aztec that are 90 linear miles or beyond our museum for free or discounted. So if you're traveling, you can be able to go to museums in Denver, California, Arizona, Chicago, all on this membership too. So something to consider as you're walking around the museum if you want to move forward. And then if you buy a museum in the store, same day we'll apply a discount to the cost of your admission to purchase a membership of your choice as well. So something to think about. Then we also added a more COVID Rolodex statement as well, in stating that COVID-19 has had a huge impact on us. It has impacted us financially, so we have moved virtually to do a lot of our member programs. They're free for our members, and we have tons of out-of-state members that join in on our virtual programs and get excited because of the content that we provide. They're fun, engaging, educational, and we also even incorporate other museums as well to create a collaborative experience as well. So really giving the chance to provide accurate responses sometimes will convince them to join as a member, but I have to be very strong to say that there's a possibility that it will not. But the goal with conversational road mapping and navigating responses is to make sure that no one comes into your institution with a presumption about your institution. They will come, you want that prospective person to come out to make a decision based off of accurate information that you as the expert of your museum convey to your guests. So how do you train people on this? Really, step one is always team rally. Everyone on your team needs to rally behind this. While your membership team is the one that kind of takes the lead on it, does the everyday, I'm my own person, so really I'm my own team. I do this every day for my museum, but I also know that I can also spin this to really encourage our team to advocate for the museum. We're about a less than 20-person staff, so we all promote the concept of working together on a collective to be able to advocate for the museum as a whole. Because really, in the end, our institutions are our employer. We want our employer to succeed so we can be able to survive and provide for our families as well. So we all need to work together to be able to advocate for our institutions. So what I did was I divided the training into two parts. We have volunteers who are greeters and our docents. And what I did was I had a separate training for them to be able to utilize this skill set and be able to share this information with guests as guests were walking around and interacting with them. Because our docents specifically are on the museum floor, not right now because of COVID, but prior to COVID, they would be on the floor and people would always see their little I'm a member badge and ask, why are you a member? What do you like about the membership program? And this gives them an opportunity to be able to navigate why. What is their why? Why did they want to join? And then this was also utilized for our staff in our staff meeting. While some of our staff are members, I tailored the training a little bit differently for them in the sense of what aspects of the membership program do you know about and that you like that you can be able to convey publicly. And what I did was I had a four question module that you can write, and you would write down your responses, and then we would share the responses as a group. I found that if you have the questions in front of you, write them out, and then share them, it really helps guide you in how you're communicating with others and really trying to think about what you're trying to say and what you want to say to the general public. So this was a really good opportunity for our volunteers because a lot of them are donors and members themselves, where they're able to share firsthand knowledge on why they love having a membership at the museum, and those personal experiences add that special touch for someone to get excited and have a better sense of what our museum is all about. Also, our staff is able to take pieces. When I trained our staff, the thing I wanted them to really grasp on is what aspects of the membership program apply to you and what do you love about it so much that you can be able to share publicly. Our staff loves our Einstein's Night Out programming. Some have attended pretty much all of them. They loved cooking, they loved painting, and I'll get to the story behind it later. But we also have staff who love our exhibition openings as well. It's a treat because our members get to meet the person who designs our exhibitions in person and be able to talk to him personally about the exhibition as well, and to share compliments for his hard work as well. So our exhibits technician and director of facilities, he attends our exhibition viewings. I always try to point out to members that hey, that's Ryan, that's the one who designed our exhibition. So go talk to him, learn more from him. And he always gets excited to know that members appreciate the hard work that he puts into an exhibition. And he can easily just use that to talk to someone about our membership. Like, yeah, you can go to an exhibition viewing for free and I'm there and I'm able to hang out with you and talk to you about the exhibition and how I designed it. So that's just a really cool way to have your staff be able to be a part of the membership advocacy and museum advocacy, but also be from their own personal perspective as well, where they're not feeling like, oh, I have to be the membership associate or part of the membership team for a day. They're using their own experiences to be able to advocate for their institution positively. So I asked the following questions. What do you enjoy most about the museum that you're willing to share? Are you a member? What are your 2 favorite benefits? So for staff, especially if they benefits that relate back to what our museum collaborates with them on. Also, what are some neat things that you've experienced as a member of and why did you join? Because we do not only have volunteers who are members, but we also have staff that are members as well. So, and then if someone wasn't a member that was participating, I wanted them to think in the sense of them being a prospect. What are they looking for? What are they wanting out of a membership program at a museum? And what can we do to make it unique for them? And to say, I want to be a member of the Nuclear Museum and not another institution. So the reason I chose these particular questions was because I wanted to determine what people are enjoying about the museum. Taking off the staff hat, taking off the volunteer hat, and they are people. I want to understand what it is that they liked about the museum and how I can be able to help further build this training module further and be able to grow the membership program too, because that leads to the latter half of the definition of how can you grow your organization and its membership program. I also help staff navigate. This was a way to help staff and volunteers navigate what they most enjoyed about the program and how they can use their firsthand experiences to be able to navigate conversations that they're having with the general public about why they're members and why they love it so much. And to maybe even later get them to convince others to join the museum as well. Now, this is getting to the latter half of the definition. So plan of action. How are you going to use conversations that you're having with the general population, with your team, with volunteers, with your board of directors or trustees to help grow your program and enhance it? So these conversations are important to have because you're able to roadmap their responses to be able to figure out, Oh, we don't have this. Okay, let's figure out how to add it. Okay, COVID-19 is really affecting us financially. What route should we go to figure out what we need to do to earn some extra income if renewals are down? This is where conversations are very important to utilize to help grow your program and to be able to resolve or begin to resolve issues that are found in the current program's practice. So I have one example put up just because, again, I'm one that always likes to have my slides be set in a note form. That way, if people want access to them, I'm able to have it all in the front line, and you can be able to have those materials right in front of you easily. So the first example is Einstein's night out. There's a story to this. So our board president at the time, he was really concerned about our basic level membership and our Einstein Society level not really having anything to kind of put some pizzazz into differentiating the two membership types, other than bringing guests to member events and to the museum to visit on a guest pass. There really isn't anything else. So with that, we noticed in road mapping the conversation, that's exactly right. That is the problem that we had. Therefore, the situation, how to find the roadmap to the solution was, what can we do to differentiate these two membership types and be able to get people to join at this level initially, or even upgrade from their lower level Einstein Society membership to a higher level one. So what I have been doing since my first day at the Nuclear Museum was creating member events. Some are our staple programs that we have before the pandemic hit, but we have staple programs that are scheduled every year. So in thinking about that, that's exactly what I did. So I suggested to our board president, why don't we create a separate benefit that's offered to the Einstein Society that is known as specialized member events for just them and their guests. And we'll call it Einstein's Night Out. There are nights out on the town to different places in Albuquerque. We would cover the cost in getting the venue and the food and everything else. And this will be a free program for them, and we'll offer it different times of the fiscal year. And they get to spend time together, build community, and be able to say, I have this membership because I get to go to these fun events, away from the museum even. And our board president thought that it was a super amazing idea. We implemented it right away, and it is now our most popular benefit that we offer for the Einstein Society. Myself, honestly, that is the first thing that comes in my mouth when I talk about the Einstein Society is Einstein's Night Out, because they say, well, if you're new to the area of Albuquerque, this is a really great membership to be able to make new friends, be able to hang out with like-minded people, and also be able to take guests with you to these events and to visit the museum as well. Because I'm a member of this group myself, and my husband and I chose to do this because we not only wanted the guest passes to share with our family, but also be able to get into these programs as well. Really, my husband get into these programs. I'm the one who's planning them, so I get to go anyway. And also bring our own friends as well, just to appreciate our friends and be able to have them hang out with the rest of our constituency too. So this program has been very successful. It has raised our Einstein Society population from 100 from when I started 3.5 years ago, to now 200. A double jump from 100 to 200 in 3 years because of this particular benefit. So this is where conversational road mapping works. You can be able to take something take a conversation you're having with someone and be able to navigate to a solution and work together to make that solution happen and make the solution even more effective. The other side to Einstein's Night Out is guests of Einstein Society members get a $50 off discount one-time fee if they join that night as well. So it also solved the problem of growing the society as well. So it brought a strong differentiation between our basic and Einstein Society levels, and also it solved the problem of getting new blood into the society too. So they can be able to share, oh, I joined this because I wanted to do these fun night out programs, and I like the Nuclear Museum for what they stand for in STEM, and this is really cool, and I think you come with me to a program, and they joined too. And that is how that grew as well. So as someone in the membership circuit, I'm always going to say this, and I believe it to the strongest of core. That is, members are the heartbeat of your institutions. They are. If you followed on Instagram or saw my bio, you would see something that I got from my very first American Museum membership conference experience. And it said that $603 a year a member contributes. Guys, that's not just dues. That is donations to projects that your museum's having outside their dues. That's maybe a science camp admission. That's maybe an admission to a program and a discounted rate for members too. So, and that's sustainable and consistent funding for your institution as well. So members are truly the heartbeat because they are the consistent beat to keep your institutions going and alive. And especially during this pandemic, that has proven true. Yes, retention numbers have gone down for everybody, but you still have generated income coming in from your loyal members that want to see you survive and succeed. So I'm a big proponent of always talking up your museum, talking up its membership program to your community, no matter what you're doing. Share the importance of advocating for your museum, especially during this time. Whether it's advocating their own personal experiences or taking what they're road mapping, their conversations with others to share about their institution and advocating for it, or your membership team even advocating for their museum as well. This is something that's very important, and really wanting to make sure that your institutions are really appreciating your members and holding true that they are the heartbeat of your institution. Just wanted to show you guys some really cool things from our museum. So these are different ways our members are benefiting from our membership program. So we have over here members of our Einstein Society attending a cooking class. So this lady right here is actually our executive director's spouse. They're Einstein Society members as well, and her name's Celeste, and she is grabbing some items that they're cooking at a little restaurant that also offers cooking classes too. And we reserved the whole entire building, and they got to spend the whole entire time learning how to make, one year they learned how to make Chinese food, and the authentic Chinese food, and the other was authentic Greek food as well. We have some children partaking in not only our science camp programming and getting that 10% discount, but also getting engaged into our free member programming as well. So learning how to make a homemade camera, having little planters, and making recyclable art, or even s'mores from a solar panel too. We have our adults even having fun with our member programming. This gentleman right here is actually my husband. So he is having fun with our education director and having a really great time being a demonstrator for our Science After Dark program, which is our members program for adults. So they get to be kids for a night and be able to be engaged in fun science experiments. Then we also have an example of our virtual exhibition opening, our in-person exhibition openings, and be able to see an exhibition in person before the exhibit becomes public. Unfortunately, I can't point out Ryan to you because he's not in this image, but you can also be able to meet our exhibits tech and director of facilities as well, and be able to learn from him what inspired his designs. I'm ready to answer any and all questions you have for me. I'm just really appreciative of Laura, as well as the rest of the National Emerging Museum Professionals Network, for allowing me to speak on conversational road mapping, advocating for your membership programs. And the reason why I'm providing you my personal contact information is because after January 22nd, I will no longer be at the Nuclear Museum. I will be moving on as a military spouse. My husband and I are moving to our next military base. So I will be no longer at the museum, but I can be available through personal contact to be able to answer any and all questions that you have if we don't get to those during our Q&A. So I will hand this back over to Laura and we can, get started with the Q&A.
All right, thank you, Deidre. One question we'll start with, Sarah asks, are you currently doing in-person events? So maybe like the events that you were showing with those images at the end, or were those pre-COVID?
Thank you for the question. Those were pre-COVID, unfortunately. So what we are doing right now in terms of member events are all virtual. So similar to what we are doing right now through Zoom and meeting in a collective community through Zoom, that is what we have been doing in terms of member-only programming. What we have done to add to generating extra revenue on top of the upgrades and new membership category we have, we also invite the general public to be able to participate in our Nuclear Museum solo ran member programming. So we basically just charge the general public $10 a pop and be able to attend our virtual programs as well. The general public does not get invited to our collaborative virtual programs that we do with other museums, just because we also want to respect the other institution in making sure that their members are given first priority to attend the program, just like our members. So we're doing everything virtual right now, but we hope to be able to go back and doing stuff in person here once we have the vaccines rolling out to everyone, and hopefully once restrictions die down as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, and then Madeline asks, how did you determine dollar amounts for your membership levels, and how can you politely build price into a conversation?
Thank you. That is an amazing question. I'm still learning that skill set from AMMC, so definitely my recommendation for you is to look them up and look up their resources and attend their conferences. That is the best place to be able to have resources available to you to figure out how to price point your memberships. I was fortunate in the sense that the membership program was pretty much priced the way it was. It already went through a price change just kind of before I started. So I was able to have these price changes already be established to where price changes in the majority were not fully necessary. However, I could explain in the sense of the Atomic History Patron level membership. So when we looked at our current membership levels, we wanted something that could definitely be A, affordable, and B, cost effective. So how we looked at the Atomic History Patron level specifically was, what does this membership supposed to do? What are the benefits supposed to do? And then on top of that, how are we going to price it effectively? So in terms of how we priced it, we didn't really have a membership level that was $50. That's because the other levels had more stuff. So our family's $75. You're paying for more people to utilize a membership benefit than just simply 2 adults. We also have every other membership under it that is more geared towards a single person membership. So we wanted something that will price point similarly to a dual level, but not be a dual level at the same time, because we found that dual levels just don't work for us all that well, but that's just our museum personally. So Albuquerque, and you also have to kind of look at your community as well. Albuquerque is very, not only crime-ridden, but also very impoverished as well. So we wanted to make sure that if we wanted a more heightened individual membership level, we didn't really want it to be priced too high, where the benefits will kind of blend together, where, oh, I can just spend $40 and be fine. I don't want to really pay the extra $10. So in analyzing our benefits, we really wanted, that led to us analyzing our benefits and be able to figure out that really creating a podcast really doesn't cost us that much. That is an extra addition to 2 people's job descriptions that were basically cost pointing their salaries, and that's it. And then Constant Contact, using Constant Contact, that really doesn't cost us all that much to use, to send an email and to send a podcast through email. So we're reaping really 100% of the profit of that membership level because we're doing the membership level in-house. Everything about that level is in-house. On top of that, we're able to see that the goal for it is to make it more friendly for those out of state as well. We want people to be able to join the museum that don't reside in New Mexico or Albuquerque. So we wanted something that could market to those people and be able to get them to join and support the museum from anywhere they are. So that's also why we created the podcast too, to be able to give them something where they can enjoy their membership without really being in the local area. And then the virtual programs on top of that add to that benefit as well. So really just pay attention to utilize AMMC as a resource, pay attention to your community's price margins and socioeconomic demographics, and really trying to analyze your perks to make sure you have a strong differentiation between them, because our individual level doesn't get the Atomic History Patron podcast. The Atomic History Patron people do. So really having those strong differences to be able to say, this is why people are going to pay $10 more for this. This is why the people who don't pay that extra $10 don't get this. So it's analyzing your benefits and the socioeconomic demographics of your community as well. Sorry, that was long-winded.
And then what's that acronym again, just for folks who aren't familiar, that organization?
Absolutely. So it is the American Museum Membership Conference, or AMMC.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then actually I had a question. So we currently don't have a membership program. We did a long time ago, but then we got a new building and we just became a Smithsonian affiliate a couple years ago. So we're trying to figure out perhaps if we are going to roll one out, how do we do that in conjunction with the Smithsonian affiliate benefits? But as far as institutional buy-in, I know you didn't get a lot of pushback when you proposed the Einstein night out, but what advice would you give to someone who maybe was getting pushback? Is it a simple matter of bringing administration that pros and cons list or comparisons, well, this museum is doing it and they're very similar to us and they're having a lot of success? What kind of general advice would you give someone like me?
Absolutely. So definitely you're answering the question right on the money. If you don't have a membership program already at your museum, definitely get buy-in for it. Absolutely. And have a strong comparative analysis of other institutions that are similar to you and that do have membership programs, and be able to show and also be able to talk to that membership person as well, to kind of say, hey, how is your membership program doing? How much money does it bring in? What's your percentage of renewals? We're thinking about wanting to do a membership program as well, and I want to be able to show that retaining members bring in a lot of sustainable revenue. So that example that I provided, there's a before part to it. The standard person who's not a member brings in that same analysis that I mentioned, brings in about $73 to that museum. A member brings in $603 on average. So if you think about what that $70 looks like, that's admission, that's maybe a costed program, maybe a camp, but again, that is one-time income that's coming in. The biggest buy-in that you can even say, like without having stats, is that members bring sustainable income to your museum. They're sustaining donors, essentially. Mm-hmm. They're sustaining donors with benefits. So the biggest thing, I do see museums have challenges in getting buy-in for certain benefits because of cost and such like that. The biggest thing is really just having a group conversation, bringing in those outside knowledge, bringing in outside resources, also showcasing these are standard benefits that are offered in a museum. We can make this cost work because having a virtual viewing of an exhibition, while we're in COVID right now, having a virtual viewing of an exhibition for our members, this is something that can be pretty easily done. We do it through Zoom webinars, so we do it. And you can also be able to keep constituents engaged. That's the biggest selling factor for to have a membership program as well. You're creating a community that will stay loyal, true, and engaged with your institution. I didn't really get to explain the life cycle of a member. So the life cycle of a member is you have your visitor, then they purchase the membership and they become a member. Then they become a donor because they believe in your mission, they support you further. And then they keep visiting and donating and becoming a member, and it keeps going and going until something happens where it dies off. They move away, they pass away, COVID-19, what have you. The life cycle can pause for some people. So the biggest thing I can tell you is that a membership program is the best thing for a museum to get sustainable funding in and sustainable community, to be able to get sustained donors. I call certain members of our group the membership triad. That is someone who becomes a member, someone who volunteers at our museum, so joins our board or volunteers as a volunteer at the museum, and becomes a donor. If you are all three of those things, you have the strongest loyalist triad you can ever see, because that is consistent money coming into your door, because you have someone paying, you have a volunteer who's volunteering their time to advocate for your museum. Part one. Part two, you have them paying dues for a membership. And I want to say about 70% of our volunteers are part of the Einstein Society. So that is huge money coming. And then you have them making outside contributions to your institution as well. So that right there, if nothing else, you're creating a strong, loyal community to bring in sustainable revenue to your institution. So that's definitely a big one. If you are struggling with buy-in, bring up community and have numbers to follow, because that, seriously, the $70 to $600, yeah, I want the $600 all the time. So that's definitely something that
Just show them the numbers, show them the data.
From the data, and show that if you have a loyal group of people supporting your museum at a sustainable level as renewing or making outside contributions, that's extra money coming into your institution to be able to grow it, do different programs, and add to your current building. I don't know, different things to be able to add extra funding to your museum to expand and do more stuff. So
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
absolutely.
Well, it looks like we have about 9 minutes left. So did anybody else have any questions or comments for Deidre? I know she shared her contact information. So, you know, of course, if you think of something later, as is often the case for me, I know, feel free to reach out to her then too. You can also unmute yourselves if you want and ask your question that way too. And I also wanted to remind folks that if this is something that you're interested in, if you have some kind of expertise, or you know, you just want to talk about a really popular program at your museum that you helped develop and you're really proud of, I did drop my email in the chat box. You can contact me directly, secretary@nationalempnetwork.org, or you can fill out the Google form, which I also dropped in the chat. So we would love for other EMPs to sign up. Well, Deidre, did you have any last comments or?
Sure. So just want to thank you, Laura, and the rest of National Emerging Museum Professionals Network for allowing me to speak on memberships. It is my world and domain, and I'm super excited to have shared my personal experiences in membership and being able to advocate for the Nuclear Museum with all of you. And thank you for coming. This is my first time doing something like this and sharing my personal membership experiences with a community like this. So really excited to have been offered the opportunity. And again, I'm going to put my email in the chat as well as my phone number. So if you have any additional questions that you think of that you want to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to. Just please use my personal email that I'm giving to you, because I don't want you to email my museum email after the 22nd and it basically not go to me directly. So just want to make sure that I'm able to answer any of those questions for you. But thank you again, and I'm super excited to have shared this, and I hope this helps your institutions be able to grow and advocate for your membership programs, or create one even.
Yeah, right, or create one. Yeah, for some of us. All right, well, thank you so much, Deidre. We really appreciate you doing this. Great, I know I learned a few new things, so hopefully everyone got something out of it. I'm sure they did. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.